When they sell drugs to our people and our children on the corner, wherever we're at, we'll just watch. But we're unhappy with our community. We're unhappy with our society. But we don't want to take the responsibility for happiness. You have to be courageous. Happiness requires courage. It's deep. No one ever taught it like this. Happiness requires courage. Because if you are not courageous, then you will not step out of the situations that are the manifestations of your unhappiness. Because you will feel that when I step out, there's nothing there for me to step onto. And as far as you can see in captivity, there's miles and miles of land. You don't see no end to your running. So you would have to have courage to run seeing no end. The only secure thing that you see, the safest place, the only secure place that you can see is the white man's house. Is your master's house. That is the only secure thing. And the rest is just open land to no end. Where am I going to run to? It takes a courageous person to run somewhere in which they don't even know where the fuck they're going. And they would not know where they have went until they got there. Y'all hear the point away? Until they got there. That takes courage. So it takes courage to become happy, because you must step out of the comforts of your unhappiness. You must step out of the security of an unhappy state to become happy. So picture this slave saying, I'm going to run away from the plantation. And this is all spiritual. This is a spiritual metaphor. Imagine this slave saying, I'm going to run away from my master's plantation. Now that plantation for us is many things. It's a job. It's a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of things. It's a relationship to government. It's a relationship to anything that you do not want to be in. That is your captive now. That is your master now. And you say, I'm going to leave master's house. I'm going to leave the captivity. I'm going to leave the enslavement, the limitation. I'm going to step out of this. But from standing at the master's house, in the field outside of the master's house, where you work and pick cotton all day, and you look out, you see nothing but just lands and lands of cotton. Some people are going to run. Some people are running looking for another master's house. Look why they will be looking at. Look why they will be looking at another master's house. Let me show you why. Are they about to run from the master's house all the way back to Africa? Where are they going to run to? Y'all hear what I'm saying? They're not about to run all the way back to Africa. They will be exhausted and tired out before they even complete a small percentage of their journey. So some of them run out in the field and see nothing and say that there's nothing for me. Some of them will lay out in the field and die. Watch this. Watch where I'm going with this. Some of them will go out in the field and go back to master's house, because that's the only secure thing they will know. Some of them will go to another master's plantation and beg him for work. Beg him to accept me, because I have been running out in nowhere and nothingness for so long. Just accept me back into your plantation. So I have some security, right? So I can eat and rest, and I pick your cotton. Because I was running out in the infinite void, nothing but land. It was going nowhere. Some of them will lay in the field. Some of them will go back to master's house. Some of them will go to another master's house. Job to job to job. School to school to school. Professional students. You want to make it? Doctor to doctor to doctor. Not going to change their diet and health from master to master's house. Some of them going to keep doing that. Some of them going to go back to their original master. Would you rehire me? Some of them going to give up and become depressed, lay out in the field. They're going to find some weed in the field, and they're going to lay in the field and just smoke the weed. Follow me with this. Some of them have a jug, and they're going to take the grass, they're going to take the plants and let them ferment and make them some whiskey and drink in the field. Hear the point that I'm making? And just lay out in the field. Some of them are going to find a so-called good person that wants to free a slave. A good white man that wants to free a slave. Some of them are going to find a good white man that wants to free a slave. And they're going to end up in that master's house. That's not freedom. How is freedom a good person who wants to free a slave? How is that freedom? Freedom is what that individual can only come from the individual manifesting who they are. From that individual knowing who they are. That's freedom. But some of them going to say they're going to find themselves among some good white people who say, I want to free you. But you was free when you left the master's house and started running. You was free at that moment when you was running through the land. You was free right there at that moment. But they say, I'm going to free you. Come on out of there and quit running, boy. Come on in my house, I'm going to free you. And while you're in my house, boy, I want you to do this, that. You can help me with this, that, and the other. Right, Negro? Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm going to free you, but you can help me while you're here. You know how to pick cotton, don't you, boy? Well, help me pick cotton. You can help me pick cotton while I'm freeing you. Y'all hear what I'm saying? What's his name? John Hawkins? What's his name, man? What's the white boy? That was Jim Brown? Is that his name?
Yeah.
I'm Jim Brown. I'm going to free you, boy. But while I'm freeing you, help me pick this cotton, right? Because I'm going to help you. So help me. Come on now. Some of them find themselves in a white man's house that's going to free them. Some of them will go to another house where there's a black person that has a better overseer position. Listen to what I'm saying. So it doesn't even feel like they're working for a white man because the black man is the overseer of the white man's house. And some of them will go and be under that black man and say, well, I'm free now. I'm not under a white boy. At least there's a black overseer, Barack Obama. Do you all see the analogy that I'm making here? Some went back to the master's house. Some went to another master's house. Some of them laid in the field and smoked weed and got drunk. On in. Some of them went to a good white man that wanted to free them. And freed them from running. You hear what I'm making? And accepted them in their house. And they turned into voluntary slaves. Some of them went to another black man's house. Or went to a white master's house. In which the black man had a better position in that white man's house. In that white house, the black man had what? A better position. So they felt more comfortable there. But you know what the conscious one did? You know what the real free person did? They ran out into the field. And they began to gather straw. And chop down trees. And they began to build their own house in the field. Y'all know what I'm saying? And when they built their house in the middle of the field, they said, we're going to protect this house. They say, we're going to protect this house. And they say, if a white master come to this house, we're going to kill him. How you doing? Did y'all hear what I just said? They said, if a white master come to this house, we're going to kill him. So look at the analogy that I just gave you. And if that analogy is really studied, then you understand freedom. If y'all can really look at that analogy, then y'all understand what freedom really is. Freedom wasn't the white man, the black man that went back to the master's house. Freedom wasn't the black man that went to another master's house because he got tired of running. Freedom was not the black man going into some good white people's house. Freedom wasn't that slave going to a white man's house that a black man had a pretty good position in. Freedom was not standing out in the middle of the fields, smoking the weed that you could find, and fermenting the grass, making alcohol. Freedom was not constantly running forever. That wasn't freedom either. Freedom is when they stopped in the middle of that field and said, I will never run again, and began to build their own house. That was freedom. That was freedom. But freedom looked like going to some good white people that's saying, well, we're going to help y'all get freedom. Y'all quit running out there in that field and come on in my house and get freedom. That was not freedom. They cannot give us freedom, because freedom is self-realization. Freedom is us realizing who we are. It cannot be given to us by the United Nations, by the UN. You ain't in.
You ain't in.
Cannot. Freedom is not something that can be given to us. It's only something that can be realized. Your freedom to move in any direction as a baby comes from you realizing your what? Your ability to move, right?
Right.
And if you don't realize your ability to move in different directions, you do not grow. You will not develop. You cannot move your arm in every direction unless you realize that you can move it. So in order for the baby to have movement, the freedom to move, it must realize its mobility. Can nobody give it that? So our freedom cannot be given to us by anyone. We must realize our freedom of mobility in the planet. Now, but in order to have mobility, you must have wisdom. Because you just can't just move anyway. To be able to have the freedom of movement, you have to have the intelligence of how to move. So the intelligence of how to move is connected to your freedom. So in order to build the freedom of mobility, you must build your intelligence. Isn't this deep? So then you must gain wisdom. So that no matter what comes in front of you that tries to block you, you have the intelligence to move around it, what? To protect your mobility. This is deep. So you must develop the intelligence in order to have the freedom of mobility. They cannot give you a developed intelligence for the freedom for mobility. They can give you the intelligence how to work under them, how to be under them, how to be subservient to them, right? How to take instruction for them, how to be guided by them. They can give you that. But you must know your own, you must develop the intelligence to realize your own mobility. And to have the intelligence to secure that mobility. So even if the white boy that said he was going to help you be free, if he at any point decides to stand in front of you, by your developed realization of your mobility, you can even move around him. Do you understand the point I'm making? You got these white people with the socialist movement and this movement and Bob Avakian and the rest of these devils. They say that I'm going to help free you. I'm a socialist and I want to see a communistic society, a utopia where we all can live free and hold hands and everybody's taken care of. But you don't realize that if we're waiting on that white boy to set this up, that's another white man in power. Mm-hmm. And when he gets in power, you're going to have to worry about how to move around him. Mm-hmm. Because he's talking about black benefit by setting up a socialist society. Don't get me wrong. We would benefit if they equally distributed the wealth and they destroyed the class system. We would benefit from that. But he still would be talking about white power.
Yes, sir.
Because you're the chairman. You're in the leadership position. So this is still white power. And wherever there's white power, there is no guarantee for freedom for us.
Yes, sir.
Because white power has always shown that it can be used for us or against us. And it can be used against us at any particular moment in time. Literally. It can be used against us. Look at Jim Jones. Man set up that community out there in Jamestown. And he set it up for black people, claiming that he was under Dr. King and he was for integration. And he, quoted Malcolm X and talked about he was a good white boy. And he took the power that he had to set up an independent community that was mostly composed of black people. It was black people who drank the Kool-Aid, because it's some Kool-Aid, black people gonna drink it. Mm-hmm.